Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Yount, as you know, and you might also know that I'm here to speak to you about my strengths and weaknesses today. Before I get started, I am currently pursuing a bachelor's in business admin. As such, I am speaking to you this week and for the next 7 weeks as a requirement for graduation. Not only will I be speaking about my strengths and weaknesses, but also some suggestions on how to improve them. So let's get started with my strengths. As you all know, I have 4 years of military experience. During that time, I had a brief chiefs, daily briefs, VIPs, all that. And with that 4 years, I transferred over into the civilian world and kept briefing all the important people, the management, VIPs, all those people. Some of my key characteristics that I think are some of my strengths are competence, confidence, eye contact, and audience's attention. So like all you know, I like speaking one-on-one, person-on-person. So I feel like I can get my point across, that you can understand what I'm saying, you can relate. If I'm speaking to a large group, I think I tend to lose my impact, my influence. So that brings me to using my strengths and how they influence my weaknesses. As I'm sure you can tell right now, I'm a little nervous, especially about topics that I don't know anything about. So now this, of course, is not a topic I don't know anything about. This is myself. This is self-evaluating. Another weakness I have is pronunciation. I struggle, especially with the English language, of pronouncing really big words. And I'd say Heather can probably vouch for this. Weakness is alluding to concepts and points. I tend to skip topics. If I'm thinking about something else, I will transition in my mind, but I won't communicate that. So with that, I have a few ideas on how to improve my weaknesses. Research and prepare. So researching and preparing on topics that I don't know anything about or topics that I'm nervous will definitely help ease the nerves. If I know what I'm saying, then it just flows. If I don't, then I struggle and I have to look down constantly, etc. So another way to improve on my weaknesses is to avoid big words, multi-syllable words. They might make you sound smart if you know how to pronounce them, but if you don't sound too smart. So, and then another way to improve is to communicate entirely. Everything I'm thinking, making sure that the audience understands where the conversation's going, and getting that feedback from the audience. So, excuse me, I'm a little sick, but from my suggestions, I'm sure I can get some feedback from you three, but that brings me to my conclusion. With my strengths, I know that I can implement these suggestions. It just takes doing so. A famous quote is, "Change in life is inevitable, while progress is optional." So we all know how to improve, we all know what to do, but if we do it or not, that's up to you. So I do appreciate you guys taking your time, coming out, listen to my short speech, and I will see you next week. Thanks again.